What's up YouTube, Dale here from Zephyr, and today I am bringing an update that a lot of you have requested. Today is the turn of Chimera, Fiendsmith. That's right, so this deck has a very nice competitive by being able to utilise the Fiendsmith engine, but the deck can also be utilised very, very pure. The one big difference between playing it pure and playing with the Fiendsmith is when you play it pure, you play it a little bit more controlled by being able to play the Diabell's the original Sin Keeper, but when you're able to utilise it with the Fiendsmith package like this, it gives you a bit more of a fighting edge. So I'm going to take you through the profile, show you what we've got, explain why we've got it, and then give you as much information as possible. So please make sure you smash that like button, hit that notification bell, and subscribe so you don't miss out on any more upcoming content. Starting with the first monster of the deck, we are playing free Nightmare Apprentice. Now this card I highly expect will be in the most recent Megatins of 2025. That is yet to be confirmed, but I would not be surprised if it is. The card is so good for the strategy, it gives you everything you need. So you get to special summon this card from the hand by discarding any card, and you can only special summon it once per turn this way. If it battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle, which is the typical kind of trait of illusion monsters. If it is normal or special, you get to add an illusion monster from the deck to the hand, except itself. Then we are playing our starters in the form of the Cornfield Kotal. So this one allows you to be discarded to then add a card that mentions Chimera Fusion, or specifically from the deck to hand, except itself. So that gives you access to what I mean by your additional starters in the form of the Gazelle or the Mirror Sword Knight. So you kind of want to use your Kotal to get there, but more times than not, you probably actually want to hard open them, especially in this format where we have Draw and Lockbird running around. It also has an additional effect that when your opponent activates a card effect that targets a card or cards you control while you have Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, you get a quick effect to banish this card from the field or graveyard to negate it and destroy it. Speaking of, your best starter of the entire deck will be your Gazelle, the King of Mythical Claws. If it is normal or special, you get to add a level 5 Fiend or a monster or a Chimera Fusion from the deck to the hand. And if it's sent to the grave as material for a Fusion summon, you get to add an illusion monster from the deck to the hand. So the benefit of something like that is this one can then straight away get you access to your Chimera Fusion, and then you can add the illusion monster in the form of the Nightmare Apprentice, and you're just able to kind of push a little bit more resource, which is absolutely insane. Then for your other starter, we are on 2 of the Mirror Sword Knight. You can play 3 if you want to. There are a couple of bits where it will clash a little bit because these are ideally your main normal summons of the deck. You probably focus a little bit more on Gazelle being your main one, and then Mirror Sword as the backup. So this one has the ability of a quick effect to tribute this card to special summon a monster from the deck that mentions Chimera Fusion, mainly the Gazelle Mythical Claws, except itself. When a monster your opponent controls activates this effect while you control Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast, you get a quick effect to banish it from the field or graveyard and negate the effect. Now the reason you want to start with the Gazelle into the Mirror Sword Knight is that the Gazelle can eat up more hand traps. Like, both of these will still have the exact same thing, but if Gazelle gets ashed, you still have that monster on the field, so if you're able to extend, you're able to work into Moon, into Requiem, and the Fiendsmith package. Whereas because you are tributing off the Mirror Sword Knight, the only benefit you have is that you have a clear field, but if they do ash it, you're at a bit more of a disadvantage, which is why you prioritise the Gazelle over the Sword Knight. We're then playing one Big Wing Baphomet. Now this is the card that will fusion lock you, meaning that you can only summon fusions when you summon this point, or from the point that you summon this card, so keep that in mind, which is why you don't rely on it so heavily. If it's normal or special, you add a level 4 Beast Monster and or Chimera Fusion from the deck to the hand. You can't special monster from the edge deck for the rest of the turn except fusions. If it's sent to the grave as material for a fusion summon, you get to target an illusion monster in your graveyard and special summon it. So again, it gives you the benefit to recycle back a Mirror Sword Knight should you want to, even recycle a Nightmare Apprentice, so keep that in mind. Then on 3 of the Chimera Fusion, you kind of want to hard open this up. Droll can be a big issue for this type of the deck just because there's loads of searching you want to do. So being able to hard open up a Chimera Fusion is just going to give you a little bit more edge and a little bit more consistency to be able to play through those particular type of floodgate hand traps. So during the main phase, Fusion summon a Fusion monster from the edge deck using monsters from the field or hand as material, including a Beast or Fiend monster. During your main phase, if this card is in the graveyard and you have Chimera the Flying Mythical Beast on the field or in the graveyard, you get to activate one of the following effects. Add the card back from the grave to the hand, or banish this card, and if you do, you special summon both a Gazelle, King of Mythical Beast, and a Baphomet from the deck and or grave. Now, you're not going to be doing that second effect because you don't play them in the deck. Then we play a very small Evil Hero package, and this is your bridge for your Fiendsmiths. So you've got your Evil Hero, a Dusted Gold, which is of course a Light Fiend, and that can be sent from the deck to the grave off of the back of your Chimera Fusion monster as well. You can also discard this card to grab the Dark Fusion, and the reason that you would do this is this lets you send from your hand or your side of the field to the graveyard the fusion monsters that are listed on a Fiend Fusion monster card, and that's very, very easy because most of them are fiends that you want to be going into, stuff like your Yourplaymat, the Mythical King of Phantom Beasts. So that's the one you want to be focusing on to kind of get you everything you're going. You can also work your way into a Duke of Demise, and of course a Princess Necrocrypt if you wanted to like hard summon it, but very rarely you're going to do that. Your Evil Hero Sinister Necron. So this is the one you get to banish it from the grave to special summon an Evil Hero from the hand or deck. So this is one, sorry. So this one gets sent from the deck to the grave off of the back of your Yourplaymat, the Mythical King of Phantom Beasts, and then you banish this from the graveyard, get yourself into the Evil Hero Dusty Gold, which is your Light Fiend, which can then become your Requiem and everything else in between. Speaking of the Fiendsmith package, I am on 2 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, and 1 Lurry, and the reason I'm on 2 Engraver instead of 3 is I don't mind the idea of playing 2 Tracked. Now, the reason I would play 2 Tracked is for the pure fact that if I open up Engraver and use Engraver to search out Tracked and I get drolled, it's like game over from that point on because Tracked doesn't do anything. Whereas if I hard open up Tracked and use it to add Lurry and then discard Lurry, even if I get drolled, the Lurry still gives me combo. So I feel that it's a little bit harder to play through Tracked under Droll than it is to play, sorry, a little bit easier to play with Tracked under Droll than it is with Engraver. So the fact that you can also recycle the Lurry, it's very rare that people are going to be relying on 2 Tracks. So if you recycle the Lurry, people are like, oh, it's just a brick. But then if you activate a Tracked again, you search out a Lurry, and by the time you're recycling all your resources, you're just going to go over and over and over again. The last one is, of course, Fiendsmith in Paradise. And then the last monster we'll be playing in the deck is the LZ Azamina of the White Forest. Now, I want to get this one correctly because it was a really, really good video. But the idea behind this one came off of the back of a build a few months ago. Now, I know this was like obviously a few months ago. I'm just going to search it back out. It was a few months ago. This was back in, let me find it. So this is a top 8 regional 2 months ago, and this is from Jake O'Brien. They were actually playing this card, and I thought this was really kind of cool, so I've added it into my list. The benefits on our list is it's an illusion monster you can search. The whole idea behind this is if you start off with something like your Gazelle, and this gets ashed or stopped or anything like that, or even if you don't start with the Gazelle, what you can do is you can special summon down the Apprentice. The Apprentice can then search you out your LZ. You can then special summon down the LZ by revealing it in the hand, and you've got instant access to your Moon. You've got instant access to a Azamina Fusion monster if you wanted to go down that route as well. So I thought it was kind of like a cool addition that just let you be a little bit more versatile. And it was only 1 card, so I was like, you know what, I might as well use it. Then we're playing 3 of the Fluolos, followed up by 3 Droll, 3 Ash, 2 Nibiru, and then I decided to go with 3 Forbidden Droplet. I did go back and forth by utilising Super Poly, but then I actually wanted the extra deck to be a little bit freer and a little bit more, like allow me to double up certain cards that I wanted to utilise, like the Yourplaymat, but also allow it to open up the door to utilise stuff like SPs, plus Chaos Angel, the High Wave Kings, you name it. So I decided to go with Droplet instead of the Super Poly, and I actually don't mind it because there are times when, especially for something like your Mirror Sword Knight, more so the Gazelle, if I use Gazelle and my opponent tries to activate like an Imperm, I can still Droplet, get rid of it. Yes, it's not that great, but like depending on what the rest of my hand is, I might need to actually dodge that card to get me what I need to. So sometimes that can be quite effective for you, and then obviously going second, you've got your Fluorolosses, and you've also got your Droplets to help you break fields. You can consider other field breakers should you want to, but that really comes down to preference, and that's where this and maybe even Nibiru could be flex spots for your preference. Moving on to the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we are playing 2 of the Yourplaymats. Now the reason I play 2 of this one is I just like it for the grind game. So this requires 2 monsters with different types, Beast, Fiend, or Illusion, which is very easily done. This card's name becomes Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast while it's on the field or in the graveyard. You can use each of the following effects once per turn. If it is Fusion Summoned, you get to send a Beast, Fiend, or Illusion monster from the deck to the grave. And then during your opponent's turn, you get to quick effect, banish this card from the graveyard, target one of your banished Beast, Fiend, or Illusions, accept itself, and special summon it. So as mentioned previously, you send the Sinister Necron from the deck to the grave as part of your combo. And then you work your way into the Fiendsmith package. The only time that you will be able to do that and then completely lock yourself out is if you've gone through the Yourplaymat, and that's why you try to avoid going through Yourplaymat where at all possible. Then we play 1 Chimera, the King of Phantom Beasts. So this card's name becomes Chimera, Flying Mythical Beast while on the field or in the grave. Only use each of the following effects once per turn. If it is Fusion Summoned, you get to activate this effect. You send a random card from your opponent's hand to the graveyard during the end phase of this turn. During your opponent's turn, you get a quick effect to banish this card from the graveyard, target a Beast, Fiend, or Illusion in your graveyard, and special summon it. And then we play one of the boss monster in the form of the Chimera, the Illusion Beast. So this requires Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, which these will become once they're in the graveyard, plus an Illusion Monster. So that's where Sequence can help you be extra aggressive, unless you want to go down the Agmunde route, which personally I'm not going down that route, but I still quite like this one. So this becomes Chimera, the Flying Mythical Beast, while on the field or in the grave. It can attack monsters a number of times each battle phase, up to the number of materials used for it. If this card battles a monster, neither can be destroyed by that battle. And at the end of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you get to change that opponent's attack to 0 and negate its effects. So then you return it to 0, attack again, 31. And you're ideally trying to make this with like 2 illusion monsters at the very least, so it gets to attack 3 times. And then you go attack, reduce to 0, and then attacking for 31, attacking for 31. And then hopefully you've got the rest of your monsters to deal the final bit of damage. For the other fusion monsters that don't fall within the Fiendsmith engine, playing the one Chimera, Guardian Chimera, and the one Azamina Soul. So this one's still really, really kind of cool because it requires an illusion and a fiend, which of course the Azamina is. And the benefits on like this, if it is fusion summoned, you get to target a card on the field and send it to the graveyard. During the standby phase, you get to target an Azamina or Sinful Spoil cards in the graveyard and add it back to the hand, so that lets you recycle the LZ. Generic Link monster in the form of the SP, and then of course your Chaos Angel, which can be utilised with Lights and Darks, but more times than not you've got that option of going Chaos Angel or for the Triple D High Wave King Caesar. Speaking of which, now let's look at the Fiendsmith package, pretty standard on this. So your Requiem, your Moon, so Moon into Requiem I guess. You've got your Sequence if you want to go down your fusion route to get you access to your Desiree or your Duke, or of course any of your Chimera monsters. Then you also have the option of your Neko Quip, and the reason you have your option in the Neko Quip is to get you into your High Wave King Caesar. So it's like, do you fear Nibiru? Go High Wave King Caesar. Do you feel some spells or traps or field breakers? Go into Desiree. Do you want to be aggressive? Go for Desiree. Do you want to extend your plays even further? Go for Duke of Demise. Like, Duke isn't as important as the others, in my opinion, so you have that flexibility to change it out for another card of your choosing. Your choosing. Of your choice. That's like so Joey Wheeler. Your choosing, Yogi. Terrible accent for me saying it. I digress. Oh, digging a hole. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the entire profile. It is your choice which one you want to go for. I do like the flexibility of this deck. I feel, if anything, as I mentioned at the start, like, you do look at stuff like your Requiem could be quite damaging, but I wouldn't put it past High Wave King being the card that gets hit on the ban list, because I saw a lot of times at the Nationals that you would basically go for your Fiendsmith route after all else. So I feel the two that you could ban or get rid of, or, you know, would be your Moon and your High Wave King. Moon limits the access to it, but then the High Wave King is one of the ones that you just make at the end of it. Like, I feel that, I mean, Desiree is just as annoying to deal with. Like, it's just as annoying to deal with. But I feel the High Wave King causes more issues, unless people want to be keeping this around for the DDD support that we're going to be getting. But, like, I would probably be a little bit happier for my opponent sitting on one Desiree that can target negate like one card when I want to activate it, as opposed to a High Wave King Caesar that just goes negate the summon, negate the summon. Like, a 2-for-1 I would take. But, you know, until that Forbidden Unlimited list drops, we're never going to know. Anyway, that is it for the entire profile. I hope this gives you a bit of an insight in the update. You can change it however you see fit. If you want to keep it pure, by all means, you can do that. You take out the Fiendsmith route, and as I've mentioned, you'd then focus on the Baphomet. So you'd go back up to a second Baphomet. You could afford to go for a third Mirror Sword Knight. Then you'd also include the Diabels, the original Sin Keeper. I think would be a really cool option to keep in the main deck. And then you can open up the space for a bit more hand traps if you wanted to, or protections in the form of cross out, call by, and talents. So that is it for the entire profile. Questions, as always, put them in the comments down below. I'm always more than happy to answer them. For now, as absolutely always, stay safe, and of course, happy dueling.